102.7, today's Sunny 95.
Welcome to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the show that brings you man-on-the-street interviews, celebrity guests, groundbreaking research, and heartwarming stories about the reasons we smile. Our show is also known as everything you've always wanted to know about dentistry, but we're too numb to ask. Hello, I'm General Dentist Dr. Kvitko, and thank you for joining me today.
The following views and opinions do not necessarily reflect those of this station, its staff, management, or parent company. To hear a replay of this show or one of the great shows that previously aired, log on to thereasonswesmile.com or iTunes, keyword Dr. Kvitko or The Reasons We Smile. Listeners should not use Dr. Kvitko's comments and advice in place of an actual dental exam.
Brighten your life with a smile that shows the professional touch of Dr. Kvitko.
Time now for The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Call 459-9769 to discuss your dental issues. Now, here's your host, Dr. Kvitko.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Reasons We Smile. I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is episode number 581. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. In the studio with us is Brandy Braun of Smart Columbus. We're going to read her bio in just a second. Before we get started, let me remind you, if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, it's at Dr. Kvitko. And if you'd please go to my office Facebook page and like us, that would be awesome. Also, I want to let you know that all past episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com, and we're streaming live on Facebook, so I'll just wave to the Facebook friends. Couldn't figure out a way to get Brandy on Facebook and me on Facebook, so I don't know if I'll spin it around or you'll just have to watch this later so you can see Brandy. Okay, so as I mentioned, in the studio with me is Brandy Braun. She is the Deputy Innovation Officer for the City of Columbus. In this role, she helps lead and oversee Smart Columbus, an initiative born from the Smart City Challenge grant, through which Columbus beat out 77 other U.S. cities to become the model for connected cities of the future. Brandy also helps lead enterprise-wide innovation strategies aimed at improving efficiency and effectiveness throughout the city. Brandy previously served as the Chief of Community Relations for the Columbus Parks and Rec Department. She was the Director of Strategic Initiatives at the Ohio Department of Commerce and Assistant City Administrator for Gahanna, Ohio. Brandy has a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in public administration, as well as a Six Sigma belt, and is a graduate of Leadership Columbus. Hey, Brandy, thank you so much for getting up and being on my show.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here.
Tell me about the Six Sigma black belt.
That is rooted in process improvement.
Okay.
I did that when I worked for the state, and it's all about learning how to take processes, break them down, and rebuild them in a way to be more effective and more efficient.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I got to meet you a few weeks back when you came to my Rotary Club, and I was intrigued by Smart Columbus. I'd heard about it, but I didn't really know what it was. Now I think I have a good understanding, but I want to ask you enough questions to make sure everyone else does as well.
Great.
But one of the things that I was not concerned about, but curious about is, how did we win this grant? And who applied on behalf of the city?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, when the U.S. Department of Transportation put out the Smart City Challenge in 2015 and the city of Columbus decided to apply, we did it very much in a way that we describe as the Columbus way. So the city or the government did not do it alone. We very much brought partners to the table.
Oh.
So it was, from the beginning, a public-private partnership. Included the city, the Ohio State University, the Columbus Partnership, and other partners that were at the table being part of putting forward the ideas that were part of our application. And in 2016, we were named the winner. We beat out 77 other cities to be named the winner. And I think that approach of the public-private partnership is what really set us apart from some of those other cities. That, the idea of becoming a smart city or a smart region has to be embraced by more than just the public sector. It really requires an ecosystem, and we showed from the very beginning that was our approach.
Cool. That's really neat. Now, it was for $40 million, right?
Yes.
Okay.
$40 million, and then also a $10 million grant
Oh, that
as well.
was a total of 50.
50.
Okay, and it lasts for 4 years?
Yes. So as part of the Smart City Challenge, there were two grants that we won. $40 million from the U.S. Department of Transportation, which is a 4-year grant to fund projects that are rooted in transportation, data, and technology.
Okay.
And then a $10 million grant from the Paul G. Allen Philanthropies, formerly known as Vulcan. That is a 3-year grant, and that work is centered on reducing greenhouse gas emissions through electrification of vehicles.
Okay. Now, is SMART an acronym?
It is not.
Okay. Because I see it in the logo, SM. Yeah, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? SMRT, SM
so,
at the top, RT at the bottom.
In our logo, it is demonstrated, our logo is a black box and has SMRT in it.
4 squares, kind of like top and bottom.
Yes, yeah. And, we worked with a local firm, Resource, which has since been acquired by IBM, and they did a tremendous amount of research around what it means to be smart. And right now, there's smart toasters, smart houses, smart speakers. So they did work in a marketing portfolio aimed at setting us apart. So when we go out and talk about Smart Columbus, we want our narrative, we want our work, and we want our logo to set us apart from everyone else. And so the SMRT does that.
Yeah. So when we won the Smart City Challenge grant, I envisioned the result would be a bunch of autonomous vehicles running all over the place. That hasn't happened, but there is one, right? Autonomous vehicle that Smart Columbus has put in action. Tell me about that.
We have launched the state's first self-driving shuttle. It is downtown. It's called the Smart Circuit. It runs just over a mile. Routes connecting the Smart Columbus Experience Center, where our team is headquartered, COSI, the Veterans Memorial Museum, and Bicentennial Park.
So there are stops at each of those?
Correct. 4 stops.
Does it go forward and then just backs up?
No, it
actually turns around in a loop?
Yep, it runs a loop, yes.
Okay. Because the vehicle looks like it could be going either direction. It's right?
Yes, it does.
It's non-denominational or something.
No, and that I think would be part of this technology. It's interesting from as a government organization to be implementing truly the very much emerging technologies that we're learning about. So I think eventually we'll see those vehicles moving back and forth. But today it moves forward on the route.
Got it. So I've thought about this, and people get nervous when they hear about an autonomous vehicle, no driver, right? But when we go to an airport, those airport shuttles, the ones on the monorail, those are autonomous. There's no person in there.
Sure.
Right. And the way they track where it is, I don't know if you've noticed it, but in the tunnels, they have these little bitty, whirlybird fans.
Oh, I haven't noticed.
The kind you put in your yard and the air spins it?
Oh, yeah.
They have these little fans in there, and I think that's when those fans start to turn, it tells them where the thing is.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we couldn't do that with the one you guys have.
But you can if you log. So part of our grant project was what we call the Smart Columbus operating system. It's a cloud-based integrated data exchange, and if you log on there, you can see live data feeds of where the Smart Circuit is.
Oh, really?
Also, where all the CODA buses are as well.
Oh, okay. So you can see if you missed your bus where it is.
Yep, that's correct. Or, when it will be
when the
arriving.
Next one will come.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what is a connected city? Wow. That's a big question, right? That's a big question.
Yeah, and there's so many different ways you can go about defining what it means to be a smart city. And I think it's important that every city implements smart solutions in a way that works for them and meets the challenges and needs of their
Okay, so there is no one definition. So what does it mean to Columbus then, or what are we trying to do?
So for the city of Columbus, I usually start out by talking about our guiding principle, and that's the fact our mayor believes mobility is the great equalizer of the 21st century.
Right.
So we believe that if we can provide equitable access to transportation options to all of our residents, they can be empowered to live their best lives.
Can I tell you something just as, I'm a dentist and I do these dentistry from the heart events. Mm-hmm. And what I kept hearing was people couldn't get to me. They couldn't get to where I was doing the free dentistry.
Yes.
So it is a challenge. And what I started doing is I have a motorhome and I bought portable dental equipment. So now I'm taking the free dental care to the people. So we do a thing at the King Arts Complex, for example. We're doing, I think it's July 27th or 28th, whatever the Saturday is. Mm-hmm. And so transportation is a big issue.
It's a huge barrier. If you look at many of the challenges we're facing as the 14th largest city in the country, whether it's the opioid epidemic, infant mortality, unemployment, poverty, access to health care, transportation is a common theme among the propose solutions to helping fix those challenges. And I think it needs to be a multi-pronged approach. So part of it is us reinventing our transportation system so that people have access to it and can get to where they need to go. But I think it's also part of the approach that you were just talking about, going to where people are and
Right.
embracing more of a mobile, on-demand system of services.
Right. We took the rig to the North Broadway Methodist Church. There was a back-to-school event. Most of the children we saw did not speak English, because and so they don't have the resources to do what we were doing that day. So, it makes you feel good to do. I wish that people could get to us easier, though. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what you guys are working on.
And so what we're doing is trying to leverage smart city or connected city technologies, and a number of those we're doing through grant projects to create a robust, equitable transit system.
Okay, robust, equitable transit system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well that sounds good. And I've always been on the bus line, by the way. My office I've moved 3 times as I grew, but I was always on the bus line.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's very important. It really is. Some people just don't want to drive.
That's correct.
It makes them nervous. They don't want to pay the insurance.
Yeah.
All of that stuff.
And I think there are two different, broadly speaking, audiences that we're trying to reach as it relates to our Smart Columbus strategy. First is trying to convince or encourage people to try not driving, to embrace our multimodal transit system and get to where they need to go without driving. You're probably aware our region is expected to add 1 million people by the year 2050,
Yes.
and we cannot build our way out of that with parking garages,
Right.
bridges, roads, etc. But the second segment, though, are people that don't have the luxury of owning and maintaining a vehicle. So how can we ensure they have access to opportunities and services through smart and innovative transportation systems?
Awesome. So it looks like it's time for us to do Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. I forgot to remind folks that we do that. So I'm going to give you the phone number now if you want to pre-program it. 614-459-9769. We are talking with Brandy Braun. And when I read her bio, that's really pretty much what we're going to go with, because I didn't know what her answers were going to be, so I couldn't make the question about those. So anyway, before we do the contest, though, we'd like you to listen to this.
This station will not be held liable for any contesting during The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko. Participation in the contest allows Dr. Kvitko to record and broadcast your name and call. 1 winner per household. Prizes are non-transferable, cannot be substituted, and are subject to taxes and fees. This station cannot be responsible for the inability to enter the contest, whether due to equipment malfunction or telephone difficulties. All decisions of Dr. Kvitko concerning this contest or eligibility are final.
And now it's time for Dr. Kvitko's question of the day.
All right, and you're going to have a chance to win free flowers from DeSantis Florist. The question of the day is, which of the following is true about my guest, Brandy Braun? A, she helps lead and oversee Smart Columbus. B, she helps lead enterprise-wide innovation strategies throughout the city. C, she previously served as the Chief of the Community Relations for Columbus Recreation and Parks. Or D, all of the above. All right, the winner's going to receive those free flowers from DeSantis Florist. The number to call is 614-459-9769, 614-459-9769. So go ahead and call now.
You won't believe it though. I wanna hear your mind, and there's nothing else in the world tonight. She said, people don't take the time. Hey, people don't take the time.
Hi, I'm Keith Carlos, winner of America's Next Top Model and star of Chocolate City 2. Look for my smile on the big screen this summer, courtesy of Dr. Kvitko. Stay tuned to The Reasons We Smile with Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of the Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. Did you know that you no longer need to visit several different dental professionals to get more complete dental care? We handle everything from cleanings and orthodontics to restoration, implants, and smile makeovers, all in my office. And now we have 2 locations. Get the most advanced technology and procedures available today. It's more complete dentistry.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
Dr. Kvitko! Let's go!
Hi, this is Richard Simmons. Dr. Kvitko's here, and he's going to help you with all of your problems. Are your teeth yellow? He can fix that. Are you missing a tooth? He can put a new one in. How is that?
That's very good. Thank you, Richard. All right, we're back. We're doing Dr. Kvitko's question of the day. Question was, which of the following is true about my guest, Brandy Braun? And we have Tiffany on the line. Hey, Tiffany, what is the answer? Hello, Tiffany?
Yes.
Oh, there she is. D, did you say?
Yes.
Okay, all of the above.
D as in dog.
Yep, D as in dog, D as in correct. So, hey, Tiffany, had you heard of any of this business with Smart Columbus?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, keep listening. You'll learn a little bit more. What do you do for a living?
I do home health care.
Home health care. Cool. Okay. So then you go to people who can't get to you. That's probably part of the solution, right, Brandy?
That's absolutely part of the solution.
Yeah, that's just what we were talking about. Awesome. Well, hey, stay on the line. We want to get the information where to send you those flowers, okay?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, if you're just joining us, I'm Dr. Kvitko. This is episode 581 of The Reasons We Smile. And in the studio with us is Brandy Braun. She is working with Smart Columbus, right?
Yeah. I work for the city of Columbus, but part of what I do as the Deputy Innovation Officer is help lead our Smart Columbus efforts on behalf of the public sector.
Awesome. So we were talking about that and trying to understand it. And, you know, as a dentist, it sounds to me that you are going to be able to make it easier for my patients to get to me, the ones that don't ride the bus already, the ones that maybe can't ride a bus.
Mm-hmm.
So you talked about, and I read about too, multimodal transportation with one point of purchase.
Yes.
So where right now somebody could take an Uber, but they have to pay the Uber. They can take an Uber to a bus stop, but then they have to pay the bus coda, and so on. So give me an example of somebody who's maybe not very mobile, so we're not talking about bicycles now, because that's also part of this, right?
Yes.
Somebody that lives in an area that maybe they're not wheelchair bound or on crutches, but they're not very mobile. So what kinds of transportation do you see them using to get to, say, a dentist for their appointment?
Well, I'm gonna talk about two of our projects that we're working on that could apply to a similar example.
Okay.
So one project that we have in development is the multimodal trip planning application.
Okay.
So, you know, Columbus already has a pretty robust system of transportation that is growing by the day.
Okay.
But there's not a convenient or seamless way for someone to plan a trip using multiple forms of transportation. And so through this application, and it also would be available on the web for those that don't have a smartphone, and through kiosks that we'll be installing.
Oh, okay, cool.
It will allow someone to plan a trip from point A to point D using multiple forms of transportation so that you can easily link together different services in a seamless way that you can't do right now. Or if you did do it, it would take a lot of time and energy.
And thought, probably.
Yes.
So you're hoping there'll be a system where if I'm a Mrs. Smith and I live just outside of, let's say I live a mile or two from the nearest bus stop, but I want to come to Dr. Kvitko for my dental appointment, right? So she could go to one place and say, I want to go from here to here, and will there be like a computer app that will plan that trip for her, pay for it, she gets picked up at her house, maybe in an Uber. She gets taken to some transportation center and gets delivered to my office, and then vice versa on the way back?
That, at a high level, conceptually, is what we're working to develop.
Okay.
Yes.
That's why you beat the other 77 cities.
Transportation pieces together. And really, a lot of this is rooted in, we want to build off the great work that CODA has already done, is continuing to do. And a big part of this is also helping solve for what's called the first mile, last mile challenge. And you just alluded to that in the example you used. So sometimes, there's up to a mile between someone's home and the bus stop, and up to a mile between the bus stop and their end destination. And it's not reasonable for us to expect people to walk that mile, especially with our weather and their groceries and children or whatever else they may have with them. So we're trying to find innovative ways to close that gap. And in fact, this fall, we will be deploying the state's second self-driving shuttle in the Linden neighborhood, testing for just that. So the shuttle will link the Coda Transit Center in Linden to the St. Stephen's Community House. So learning how we can leverage this kind of self-driving technology and really the micro-transit aspect of it to help solve that first mile, last mile gap.
Awesome. So what I want to do, we're going to go to a break here in a minute. When we come back, I want to ask you, what have you learned working through this process? What has been your biggest surprise? And what has been your biggest challenge? And then if there's time, I want to find out if after the grant money's all been spent and the project is over, will any of its components live on? So you can ponder those four.
Thank you.
You're listening to Dr. Kvitko, The Reasons We Smile, and we'll be right back.
You can't take me as I am, not just a little bit. I don't know who to be. I'm a paper cup, baby, of the sea. I know you see it too, 'cause you're too much for me.
This is Clark Kellogg. Stay tuned for more of Dr. Kvitko.
Estás escuchando con Dr. Kvitko aquí en su estación favorita.
Hi, I'm Dominique Reichert. Like what you hear? Why not use the show to promote your product or service by becoming a sponsor? Call 614-262-9588 to learn how. That's 614-262-9588. Call now.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kvitko, general dentist and host of the Reasons We Smile radio and roadshow. I've been honored to help several famous people get a perfect smile, like Keith Carlos and Dominique Reigard from America's Next Top Model, and Ted the Golden Voice Williams from right here in Columbus. Isn't it time you had a celebrity smile? It costs less than you might think, and most of the time, it can be done in one visit. A new smile can make a world of difference.
Visit worldsmostinterestingdentist.com for more info about Dr. Kvitko.
I'm Grandpa, and I go to Dr. Kvitko, and I still have all my teeth. Real ones. Where's my glasses?
All right, in the studio with us is Brandy Braun. She is the Deputy Innovations Officer for the City of Columbus. You're listening to The Reasons We Smile, and before the break, I asked Brandy to be ready for 4 questions. The first one was, in working through the process to make Columbus a connected city, what have you learned?
I have learned about, as you deploy a connected or smart city strategy, the importance of linking those pieces of technology or components to real outcomes that the city is trying to achieve. So the importance of not deploying the latest, greatest technology for the sake of it because it's fun and new, but really being thoughtful to ensure that you're leveraging technologies that are helping truly improve the quality of life for residents in your city.
And typically, ones that are already in place, you're just connecting them, you're not reinventing the wheel?
That's correct. We're building off of investments that the city has been making for a long time in its traffic management system.
What was your biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise is that we really are on the forefront of a lot of the work that we're doing. We are literally trying to do things that other cities have not done before.
You are inventing the wheel in a way then.
Yeah, and it's equally exciting and challenging at the same time.
Okay, and then what has been the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge has been communicating and connecting with all of our residents, stakeholders, and the end users of the group. You alluded to this, that when you think of a smart city, you think of self-driving vehicles, and really that was the thought of a lot of our residents, that in 4 years we'd have self-driving vehicles and there would be no traffic, when really what we're doing is we are demonstrating or testing a relatively small portfolio of projects to learn about what they are, how do they work for the city of Columbus, and how do we want to grow them or scale them to sustain our transportation system in the future.
Okay, that smart lane they're building on 670, that's not related to what you guys are doing. It just happens to be called a smart lane,
That's
right?
correct.
Okay,
correct.
That's what I thought, because other cities have done that long before us.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so then, after the grant money has been spent and the project is over, will any of its components live on? Like, will that autonomous vehicle keep going, for example?
Well, that all depends on how well the projects work how well they're received. So for each project, we're developing, along with the U.S. Department of Transportation and our partners for the projects, performance measurement plans that will define and measure success. So if the projects are successful and they show potential for the future, then the hope is, yes, that we will create long-term sustainability plans for them.
Is there a charge for that vehicle right now?
At this point, no. The Smart Circuit, it runs from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and it is free. The shuttle that will be launching in November in the Linden neighborhood also will be free.
So is it something that maybe could continue if there were a charge to get on it? Well, you've already bought the vehicle, I assume, with the $50 million, right?
Yes.
So do you see a situation where you just say, okay, it's a 50 cents or $1 and it would pay for itself, or no? You think it's just going to be mothballed?
Oh, I can't say that it's going to be mothballed. I also can't say that it's going to be free. I think that will depend on the qualitative and quantitative data that we're collecting, and I think how it fits into the CODA's strategic plan and bigger picture as they reposition themselves as a mobility services integrator for the region.
Okay. So, and I can envision a situation, I know you have lots of partners, like you mentioned, corporate partners, and so maybe there would be a couple corporate partners that would sponsor that, have their ad on the side, and that could pay for it to stay free.
That is certainly a possibility. It's similar to how the C-Bus, the circulator that CODA runs downtown, has been funded.
What is the future of smart cities? Because we're trying to make Columbus smart. So first we have to make this one smart, then we have to replicate it around the country, right? So do you see a future where every city will have this technology?
Well, part of what we're going to do through the demonstration of our projects is teach what we've learned to other cities about every stage of the process. And then other cities need to take those findings and learnings and apply it to their own smart city strategy. And I think for every city, every region, every state, that is going to look different based on the needs of their residents.
Okay. And then, so how will a connected city change the lives of the people who live there?
If we adhere to our guiding principle and the core values that the mayor laid out in his State of the City of equity, inclusion, and access, then we will create and build a transportation system that provides equitable access to all of our residents so they can access the services, opportunities, health care that they need to live their best lives.
Right, because I think your research discovered that everything had a transportation component to it.
Yeah.
Every need, people who don't have access to, say, fresh vegetables.
Correct.
It's a transportation issue, right?
It is.
People that can't get to their doctor on time or can't get back from their doctor because it's a two-way trip. You don't know how long you're going to be at the doctor.
Yes.
And so now it's essentially two requests. Bring me to my doctor. And then 3 to 4 hours later, we don't know yet, bring me home, right?
Yes.
That's a problem, isn't it? Because you don't know how long you're going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing would be for getting to an exercise class or getting to a course if somebody wants to take a class at OSU.
Absolutely. Or getting to work.
Getting to work.
Yeah. Transportation Transportation is a challenge, but at the same time, especially with these grant dollars, we have a huge opportunity in front of us to rethink about how we move people and goods throughout our city.
Okay. And do you have any parting thoughts? And by the way, if people have questions, how can they reach out to Smart Columbus? Or do you not want them to?
No. No, of course we want people to reach out. So our website is Smart Columbus.
Oh, I asked you too fast?
Yes, you asked me too fast.
Google Smart Columbus.
Yes, Google Smart Columbus. Our website will pop up. We're on all of social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And I would say that my final thoughts are that the opportunity of reinventing our transit system through the lens of equity, opportunity, and access requires an ecosystem. All of us as individuals, as organizations, as businesses are part of that model. And so we all have to find a way to be part of making that a reality. And if you visit Smart Columbus, our website or our social media, we're sharing lots of information. We actually just recently launched the Smart Columbus Playbook where we're sharing stories about what we've learned. So
Okay.
I encourage everyone to check it out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Brandy. I really appreciate it.
Thank
This
you.
is cool stuff. And I'm so happy that Columbus won and that we're doing this. All right. Looks like that's all the time we have, folks. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. It's at Dr. Kvitko. Visit my office Facebook page and like us. It's Dr. Kvitko and Associates. Remember that all past episodes, complete with video, are available at thereasonswesmile.com. Be sure to tune in next week and every week right here on your favorite station. Goodbye.
This is Carly Red from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, the hit show on VH1, urging you to tune in next week with my dentist, Dr. Kvitko.
If you're interested in learning more about this and other dental health topics, go to thereasonswesmile.com to access full episodes of Dr. Kvitko's show.
If you'd like Dr. Kvitko, the world's most interesting dentist, to speak at your next event, please call 614-262-9588. That's 614-262-9588, or send an email to speaking